Hey, I hope all is going well and you're having a beautiful, blessed day. Happy 2026. Um, 2025, as you guys might know, ended sad. My cousin Veronica passed away on Christmas, and so life mentally has been kind of hard for me. Because Veronica was truly my best friend, and we talked every single night. We were night owls together. We would talk until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and I would lovingly make fun of her because she would be the crazy person who would be up with me all those hours, but still have to be to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. So she would get up at 6 to get to work at 7. Um, but that was a cornerstone of our relationship, talking constantly. And we didn't just talk at night. We texted constantly. Um so having not having her here um to do that with has been hard. And I've had a couple cousins say that they'll be available for me to do that, but truth be told, it wouldn't be like her because we were in the same boat, because we were in the same places in our lives. We're like older women who still lived with our families. Even though she was non-disabled, and or yeah, she was non-disabled, and of course I have a disability. And that's only part of the reason why I still live at home. The other part is just because I haven't taken the steps to figure out how not to. Um, but anyway, that's just like a little bit of an aside. Um, but why I wanted to do this episode today is because my blog prompt asked me, it actually asked me, think of a relationship that has impacted your life. And I can't think of a better one to talk about right now than her. Um, I would still be making this episode if she were with me today, like physically. Because I know she'll always be with me. And quite honestly, you guys, I have to say that when other people say that, it is something you intellectually know. If you believe that there's life beyond this life and that it doesn't end when you die, it is something that you intellectually know. But when people say that and you're not ready to hear it, it sounds like Christianese. And the definition of Christianese is, of course, when you're a Christian, you tend to say things like, oh, they're in a better place now, or oh, they're watching over you, or, fill in the blank with whatever you want. But when people are grieving, they just need you to listen. That is the time when it's not about you talking, it's just about you being there, basically. And you might, as the listener, feel like a statue because you're not saying anything. But that's what a person needs right then. And I've already kind of gotten my Christianese at church. Somebody told me that when I told somebody that I was going through a hard time because my cousin had passed, they said, "Well, you're here and you're smiling anyway." And being there and smiling is was hard, but it is my intention and goal for 2026 to be at church as much as possible and go out as much as possible, without the judgment of why are you not walking, because that is very much a judgment that I get. um so with that aside, you guys, that is the first part of what I wanted to say. But with that aside, I wanted to talk about my relationship with my cousin. We obviously were cousins all our lives. She, Veronica, is the daughter of one of my dad's first cousins. So my aunt Marilyn, who is actually my dad's cousin, adopted Veronica when she was 2. And so we grew up seeing each other periodically at family functions. And then I remember the first time we went to the house they lived in now. Um, we would both crawl up the steps, or I would crawl and she would walk, obviously. Um, but we would both go up her steps that led to the second floor of the house, and then we would turn around and slide down on our butts. And that's one of the memories that I have of us being little. And I also have a memory of, maybe it was that day or another day. I don't remember, but we played um games in her bedroom, and she had all these girly games. I think like Girl Talk, and I think I remember Girl Talk and that mall, um whatever that mall game was, that you go around the mall buying prizes. um but I remember playing with her neighbor, uh because her neighbor came over that day, whatever day it was. Her neighbor came over that day, and I remember sitting in her bedroom and playing games while our parents were downstairs. And we just talked and laughed, and we then we were friends, but we had no idea how much we would impact each other and become the best of friends. Um, and then there was also the day that I can't pinpoint the day that changed our relationship into being best friends. It might have been my cousin Heather's wedding, or like I said, it might have been something else. But I remember that we were just talking about how much we love theater, and um and we started to bond over, the theater stuff that we loved. And then during the course of that bonding session, that conversation, before we left, we're like, no, I don't want you to leave, and I don't want to leave. um and then we just said, hey, why don't we go shopping sometime? Christmas is coming up. Why don't we do our Christmas shopping together? And that's what physically started our huge bond, our tight bond, that that brought us together. I remember she picked me up and we went all the way back towards her house to go Christmas shopping at the mall towards her house. And then she ended up bringing me back after Christmas shopping. Um so that was our first outing. We went, I'm guessing we went to something like the Cheesecake Factory. And then went to go do our shopping. Um so that's what started it. And then we started finding the musicals that we enjoyed. Rent. We went to go see. Yeah, we went to go see Rent. We went to go see Wicked a bunch of times. I saw Wicked like 5 times, and 3 times I think was with her because I saw Wicked in 2007 with my mom and my grandma. Um, that was August of 2007. It was actually August 29th, my grandmother's birthday. Um, so August of 2007, I saw it with my grandma. And then I believe I saw it once in 2008 with Ronnie. And then in 2009, when Megan Hilty was going to leave, we saw it again. And then after that, we saw it again one more time. And then my last time, I don't think it was her last time because she went a lot. My last time, I took my cousin Angelica to go see it in 2009. And that was also, yeah, that was her first time and my last time seeing it. But I also remember that that she also took me to a musical that I didn't want to go to. And honestly, I think I need to see that again because it was her favorite. And her favorite was Phantom of the Opera. I didn't like Phantom of the Opera because, one, because we saw it and I didn't like it because to me, it has a lot of jump scares in it. Like there are a lot of things that will make you jump, and sorry, having being somebody who has CP, I'm kind of mindful of those things because I need to know like when to literally brace myself in order to keep myself from getting freaked out about something. And so Phantom of the Opera was not one of my favorite musicals, but I remember her one time. I remember her one time saying, "Well, you're my only sophisticated friend that will go to these things with me." And so I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll go." But honestly, I kind of went begrudgingly, but um that memory of seeing it with her will last a lifetime. We also saw Rent back in 2009 when it was on one of their anniversary tours. And I was trying to do the math um, yesterday. I think it was 15 years. That I think it was a 15-year tour that they were doing. Anthony Rapp and Adam Pascal actually came back to reprise their roles. And that is one of the best memories that I'll ever have. And for reasons that are thought of as silly now. We had a falling out not too long after that. And it was over scheduling and a CD. Scheduling and a Josh Groban CD. Specifically, the Awake CD. I bought the deluxe version off his website. And I lent it to her and she lost it somewhere amongst her stuff in her car. And I was just so upset. And okay, so that upset me. But what upset me more is that there came a time when we no longer could find time to hang out anymore. And so I think I was just so butthurt about that. That I thought, it's your fault that we can't hang out. And it wasn't her fault. It was just, life gets busy. But when you're young, you don't realize that other people have a life. And I think now looking back specifically for me, that hardship, that relationship hardship for me came at a time when I wasn't independent. Now I'm very much more interdependent where like I need help getting out of the house. But once I'm out of my house, I pretty much can navigate my surroundings independently. And yeah, there might be some things that I come up against, but I know how to deal with it. So I'm pretty much interdependent in that way. And so, but when our falling out happened, I wasn't interdependent yet. And I depended on other people to entertain me physically and to give me a social life. And I think that's what I found in my cousin was that I put all my eggs in that one basket. I didn't feel like I had friends. I didn't feel like I had the church friends I have now. Because of different circumstances. And so I put all my energy into our relationship. And so when the schedule thing happened, it was just it was detrimental to what we thought about each other. She thought I was just being silly. I thought she was being mean. But then it was really awkward because we did see each other because we loved the same things. So we saw each other at a Celtic Woman concert like 20 years ago when our relationship was still rocky, and it was just really awkward. But we were able to come together. We barely came together in, I believe, our cousin got married in July of last year or August of last year. I don't remember when our cousin got married, but that night that we were at her wedding, of course I went to the wedding like all nervous because I knew that I would see my cousin. And I thought, oh my god, this it's gonna be weird because I haven't seen her in years. And it was kind of awkward in the beginning, like during the wedding, because we sat on opposite sides of the room, which wasn't very like far from each other, but it was still opposite sides. But um when we got to the reception, I actually wanted to sit with her and see how she was doing. And we started making small talk, but then it turned into the type of talk that we always would talk about. We talked about what musicals we had seen. We talked about the fact that Wicked Part 1 was coming out and what that would look like. And we both weren't sure. We both agreed on the fact that we weren't sure what it was going to be like with the casting that they did for Elphaba and Glinda. And so we're like, kind of questioning, you know, kind of questioning the choices that were made. Um, yeah. So we were questioning the choices that were made. And um, we left that night. I left with her phone number because when we had our falling out, we had erased each other's phone numbers from our phones. And so we left with each other's phone numbers. And from that on, we picked back up where we left off. We said that we weren't going to bicker anymore. And we picked back up where we left off. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, that morning, I said we could go back. No, before I left for the wedding, I said that we could go back to our normally scheduled routine, which we always, since the beginning of our relationship, we always texted that late or that early in the morning, however you want to describe it. So we both agreed that we could go back to our regularly scheduled routine because we would both be awake, and we just wanted to talk about so many things. And I don't know if it was that night or that week that we said our I'm sorries. We cried through, um, all of the old crap that we put each other through, um, with the misunderstandings. And we said, and I don't know if I've said this before, I may have, but we said that Josh Groban CD was now a coaster because nobody uses CDs anymore or DVDs. And I was actually laughing with another cousin of mine who is also like a sister to me. She's very close. We are very close because she was one of my cousins who has witnessed literally everything that I've ever been through in my life. But I was laughing with her, and she's like, "Hey, I still use my DVDs." Um, but Ronnie and I both considered CDs and DVDs like coasters. They're obsolete now because everything is digital. And so, we got past all of the everything, and um we saw each other. The last time we saw each other was at our cousin's memorial, and we said that was back in August. We said we need to get together in better times. And so now what my regret is that I didn't kidnap my cousin like I wanted to after the memorial. Um because her schedule was packed. She was always on the move and always doing something due to other, scheduling family circumstances. And so we couldn't find the time to hang out much, but we knew we had I knew and she knew that we wouldn't go back to the bitterness of, oh, your schedule is, so packed, and why can't you make time for me? Because we made time for each other in text messages. And so we weren't going to go back to that bitterness, and we never did, thank God. But what I regret is that I didn't, yeah, I regret that I didn't kidnap her and say, "Oh, you're coming with me," because um I had told her that I was taking access to the memorial because I other people call it laziness, but I call it efficiency, and I will stand by that. Um I didn't want to go to the memorial with my family and have to transfer twice. I only wanted to have to transfer once. So I went to the memorial on access. And I said, hey, this was before the memorial though. I'm like a couple days before I said, hey, we should plan to go somewhere, you know, out there by your house, more local to you. And she's like, where would we go? And I'm like, I don't know. We could have gone, now that I think about it, we could have gone to her house and sat in the backyard. And she could have gone swimming or did whatever she was going to do, but I could have just hung out with her there in the backyard. And we never did that. So, that is the one regret that I have. And I also just regret losing so much time, but I'm happy to say that she got my Christmas present before Christmas and she opened it. She knew what it was and it meant a lot to her. I'm so glad that it did. The day after Christmas, my parents went to go visit her parents and my aunt actually gave it back. But I bought my cousin the Grimmery. And the Grimmery is Alphabet's spell book in Wicked. But in real life, in the fandom universe, it is a journal. So I I bought it for her and I said that it was meant to be used, and I don't know if she ever opened it and used it because she was too afraid to. But I need to go, not now because I'm obviously talking to you, but I need to go see, I need to go open it for myself and see if she used it. Even, writing her name in it. Um, I just wanted to talk about her for a little bit, and I know that she's watching over me and that I will always carry our memories, and I will always carry the last piece of advice that she gave me. I wasn't really into choir this year. Um if you asked me, and I feel really bad admitting this, but this year 2025, if you asked me what do I like more, singing or dancing, my answer would have been dancing. And it's not that I didn't like singing. I just didn't feel the same. Even though I have to remind myself that praising the Lord is not about me, it's about Him. Hold on, I gotta switch hands. Yeah, I have to remind myself that praising the Lord is not about me, it's about Him. And so I gotta do it, and if God calls me to still be in choir, I will still be in choir. I love my choir family. But this past year, I was just not feeling it, for whatever reason. But I live for my Saturdays. And, the last piece of advice that Veronica gave me was simply just be you. I had told her, I love singing, but I admitted what I just admitted to you guys. If somebody were to ask me, what do you like better, singing or dancing? My answer would have been dancing. And during that conversation, she wrote me a message and she said, I understand what it feels like not to have the passion for something that you once had a passion for. And she said, just be you. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to live in that and not be my New Year's goal. I won't call it resolutions because resolutions tend to end. My New Year's goal is to just be me and live unapologetically. That is something that I'm still working on because it's really hard when, obviously, and you can't escape opinion. No matter how hard anybody tries, you cannot escape opinion. People will always have something to say. People will always have something to say. And some of it might be good, and some of it might be things that you need to internalize and really let help you. But some of it is just noise. So my goal for this year is to do as much as possible the way I want to do it. And not listen to the noise. Because what people don't really understand is that people with disabilities, when they make a decision to get around a certain way, that doesn't mean they're giving up. That actually means, and I truly believe this, one of the women that I follow who has a disability said, that doesn't mean they're giving up. It means they want more life. And that's where I'm at. I want more life. But wanting more life might not look like other people expect it to look. Me wanting more life might look to the outside world like I'm giving up. But like I said, I want to live in such a way where I'm only listening to hold on. I want to live in such a way where I'm only listening to the opinions that matter. And those opinions are of people that I could count on one hand. Literally, I could count those people on one hand. But even those people that I could count on one hand are the worrywarts in my life. And I still need to be careful of, is that coming from worry or is it coming from a genuine place where I need to internalize it and actually listen to it. Yeah, so you guys, that's where I'm at right now in my life. And mentally, I was debating whether to watch Wicked because that's hard. That is super, super tough right now. Even part one, I can't watch part one because it makes me think of her. The whole thing just makes me think of her. And Veronica was my only friend and my only cousin who thought of Wicked the way I did. And who had that impact, or it had the same impact on her that it did on me, where it was a piece of art that we never forgot anything about. I talked to other people in my life and they're like, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. I don't remember that. I need to see it again. But Veronica and I, we internalized the whole thing. And it just became part of our love language. It became our love language. I called her my Glinda. But like I wrote in a post after she passed last week, I said, you were too cool and sophisticated to be called Glinda, so I just called you G. And she called me Alfie or E. Because the reason why she started calling me Alfie is because my CP, my cerebral palsy, is represented by green on the disability pride flag. So I'm like, hey, guess what? I'm a real green girl. And so she started calling me Alfie. And so did she started calling me that after I told her that one of my other best friends, who I call my Nessa Rose, my sister Marissa from BBS, um, calls me Elfie too sometimes. And so she's like, "Oh, that's cool. Could I start calling you that?" She goes, "I won't if you don't want me to." I go, "Oh yeah, that's great. And I could call you Glinda because you're one of my Glindas. But you're too cool to be called Glinda, so I'll just call you G." And that is how our relationship was until God took her home. But you guys, I got to tell you the truth. I am so hurt, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with myself at night anymore. Going to bed early for me was be like 1 o'clock. And honestly, I have to honestly tell you that the only reason I go to bed that supposedly late now is because changing, I have to like kind of wriggle out of my pants and you know um and put on my PJs, and that takes me a little bit of time, and I'm not willing to go to my room like at 11 o'clock and start then. I start getting ready for bed at midnight or so. And so when I go to bed, there's still that pool of, I wonder what my cousin's doing. And I know she's not here anymore, but I already miss those text messages. Like, it's been a year already since she texted me. So that is what I'm going through right now, and it's hard. It is so hard. But I just wanted to end this episode by saying that if you feel like you need more time with people, talk them into being kidnapped. And just say, "You know what, you need to come with me," or you need to come over, or we need to go do something. Because you might not get that time back. And I would say that that it is important to, and I'm speaking specifically about mobility here. It is important to know and to understand that what is important is the time, not the way somebody gets around. I've learned the hard way that the way somebody gets around is probably like 2% of a relationship, or probably like 2% of somebody's existence. If somebody chooses to get around one way because it's easier for them, let it be easier for them. Don't shame them for wanting to do something a certain way just because they are comfortable in that way. I hope that you guys have a beautiful, blessed day and that you really hold on to your relationships. Make time in those little pockets to spend time with the loved ones you want to spend time with. Kidnap somebody if you need to kidnap them. Or have your loved one make those arrangements that will get them where you want them to go comfortably. And we always, Ronnie and I never said I love you because we were Wicked fans. We said I loathe you. And yeah, that was a Glinda Elphaba reference. And I'll loathe her forever and always. I hope you guys have a beautiful, blessed day. I'll talk to you soon. I'm not sure what episode this is. I know we are still in the 460s. But I'm not sure what episode this is because my phone no longer lets me scroll up and check what episode it is. So I might have to scroll on my iPad and see, because I do have the app also on my iPad. And so I might have to scroll on my iPad and see what episode it is. And I will let you know once I know that information. I hope that you cherish your relationships. And I hope you have a beautiful, blessed first week of the year. Weather-wise, and independence-wise, it's not going to be a good first week of the year for me because it's wet and rainy. So I'm not really planning to do much. I'm not even planning to go to dance class or church until next week. But hopefully when the rain stops, the independence thing will get better and I'll be able to do so much more. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Ronnie, I loathe you. I know that you're hearing this from heaven. And I'll always loathe you. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.